Hey friends, Chris Chase here. Why do I always say my name before these videos start? Doesn't make any sense. I hope by this point you know who I am, but if you don't, my name's Chris. We are back in my backyard. I did a video for Instagram for us last week back here, and now we're in a different spot in my backyard. Really gotta do stuff with these trees. It's ridiculous. With a little bit of a life update that I wanted to share with you. For 3 years, I have been privileged to be the lead pastor here and lead through getting to know everybody on Zoom through lobby times. Zoom is still a word that we use, even though for some of us it's a bad word. Park pop-ups, finally regathering in September 2021. Some difficult church news that we had to walk through from December 2021 all the way seemingly until now. But along with some of those difficult moments, there's been a lot of really great moments too, like being able to meet everybody on lobby times, having friends drop off gifts for our family here, all the way in Oshawa, Ontario. And taking from somebody who's done this drive a couple times, it's a drive every now and again. Or dropping off a pair of silver pants that I had to wear for a bet, or being able to be a small part of spaghetti dinners this past summer, or our trunk or treat events, all of those sort of things, and Sundays in between, shaving my beard online, or dyeing my hair, or having to be forced to wear a Maple Leafs jersey, dedicating children at a barbecue, or baptizing friends at a barbecue, spending time with people over meals, and getting to know you and you getting to know me and getting to know my family. It's been a great 3 years. We left our last barbecue a couple of weeks ago, and just a great time of just watching people do life together. It's been a lot of fun, way more good than bad. And over the course of the summer, we've really, as a family, been thinking about the next stage of the evolution of our community. We've had conversations about our community and how that ties into the meeting house, and the conversations about being a part of a network and what that means for us, and the idea of being locally focused, having local engagement. And that local engagement is difficult when you have a pastor who lives almost an hour away. It means that getting together for coffee has to be scheduled days or weeks in advance. It means that if there's an emergency, you can't get to it as quickly as possible. If there's just a simple, hey, we're getting together to hang out, it requires the ability to say, let me check my schedule to literally see if just being a part of a community works. And as we're thinking about that, even before the summer, we were approached by World Vision Canada to join their staff, to apply for a role in their church engagement office that would allow me as an individual to go to different churches and talk about things like sponsorships for children, to talk about ways that they can be compassionate and serve the world around them. And as we started getting into conversation, the role just started to fit where we were as a family, what we were thinking about the next step for us. And so as we were praying and thinking and contemplating what we thought God would want for us and what God would want for our community, we came to the conclusion that I would take this role. And so, with bittersweet news, I'm announcing that, with this bee in front of my face, wasp, that I'm stepping down from my role as lead pastor of our community, effective near the end of October, possibly maybe celebrating one more trunk or treat as pastor. We'll see. And be taking on this role within the fall. Now, that came with a lot of prayer, a lot of conversation, a lot of talk with mentors in our lives, and then spending the last couple of days talking to members of our team, our elders and our key coordinators, and hearing the bittersweet conversation from them too, but also an understanding of gifts and timing and season, and just being affirmed in who I am as a person, my giftings, and also my contribution to the Newmarket story. None of these conversations were easy, but they were good because of the relationships that we've been able to build together as a team through emails and meetings and just doing life together. And the excitement of this role, while also the bittersweet recognition that I can't do both roles. And so what does that mean for our community? It means that as a community, couple things. One, Sunday's still coming, and we're excited to be back together on September 5th and to talk about Jesus. Sarah's going to be teaching that Sunday morning. It's going to be great, and to be sharing about various opportunities that you can jump into in order to serve our community. So there's ways that you can serve, whether it's welcome, whether it is on setup and tech, whether it's in our next generation, which is so important, Kid Max and youth. There's various places where you can give of your gifts and find opportunity to serve with other people and to do life with them in order to see us move forward. The other thing we're looking at is what that means for us as a community by way of leadership. And so over the course of this week, I'm going to be sitting down with Sarah and Eric versus Lewis, who represents the senior leadership team of the Meeting House, our HR department, to look at what an exit strategy looks like as I kind of go into civilian life and go into the life of being a volunteer and serving in different spaces. And what does leadership look like for us, along with connecting with our leadership team to ask them what are they thinking and dreaming and feeling for our community as well. So those are some of the next steps for us. One, Sunday's still coming, and just because somebody has bittersweet news, it doesn't mean that we don't worship with gladness because of who Jesus is. It doesn't mean that we don't get together and hug and high five and say it's so great to see you and welcome new people and move forward in the kingdom of God, its purposes, by ways of compassion, by ways of serving, by ways of worship, by ways of learning, by ways of being involved in home church. It doesn't mean that those things stop. They continue regardless of who's in the room, and knowing that we are having deep discussions about what does leadership and serving and being a part of the Newmarket Network Parish site community look like moving forward. So I'm excited for what's to come, but I'm also saddened about what that means as well. And so cover your prayers, and we covered all of the emotions that you might feel in this, because we've been feeling a lot of emotions too as a family. So however you're feeling, let's talk about that on Sunday, in the Sundays to come. Email is still email, Zoom is still Zoom, and we can still do coffees. We just got to figure out the timing so we can get down there in time to do them properly. But I won't say too much because we'll save the goodbyes for another time. For now, this is just the news that you should know, and the news that you can be praying for and praying through with us as we prepare for this transition. Being your pastor has been a privilege, and is a privilege. I'm so thankful that on a night in June, I was sitting in my basement in the middle of the pandemic, not sure what I was doing, but I got a direct message on Instagram from Will Dyer inviting me into this community, inviting me into this story. We'll say it was you, Will, but really we know it was Sarah, inviting me to be a part of the story. And for our leaders, those who have stuck around and those who have transitioned themselves, and those of you who have been a part of this community, this is a privilege. And so I look forward to living out that privilege for the next few weeks in a bittersweet way. So that's all I got. I feel like I am sweating buckets, so I'm going to wash my face. And we will see you this Sunday, 10 a.m., Silver City, or maybe you come a little bit earlier and help us with setup. Thanks, guys. Take care.